Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Chris Love.
I'm Jane Mackey. And it was a big week this week in the race to get your team outfitted by Sperry Top-Sider shoes. Tufts takes the lead and has 10 US sailing college memberships on the board, with BC just 1 point behind on 9. Fordham follows on 7, and it's changing so fast that it's likely by the time this goes live, those will have changed again. So get over to ussailing.org/college to see the updated standings and get your membership today.
Looks like it's going to come right down to the wire on that one. Turning now to the weekend, MCSA, ICSA, and SEISA round out the last of the 21 conference championships sailed before nationals. Starting over at MCSA, we had the women's champs sailed at Minnesota for 3 berths to semifinals, 1 berth to finals. Michigan and Minnesota fight it out for the direct trip to finals. Michigan comes out just 1 point ahead. Wisco and UIC pick up the other 2 semifinals berths, but take a look at the incredibly close B division in which the top 3 schools all tied with 21 points. Jane, you and I both got it right on our predictions.
For the 1 berth at the ICSA Team Race Champs sailed at Oregon, University of Washington wins big with 8 wins and 1 loss, over Western Washington and Oregon on 5 and 4. Chris picks up a point here on me, and thanks to Tom Miron for the photos.
Here in SEISA, it was a beautiful Saturday on Lake Travis, site of the 2012 Nationals to be held here in 3 weeks. Unfortunately, only 3 teams were able to make it to Austin this weekend, so only the winning team gets the berth to the ICSA APS Team Race National Championship. And that team was Texas A&M Galveston, winning convincingly 12-0 against Texas and Texas A&M, the original.
I'd say it's probably 8 gusting to like 12 or 13. Beautiful sunny day, about 80, 90 degrees, so great day of sailing.
Key to being a good crew is being able to transition well between the 8 lulls and the 12 knot gusts and moving in and out of the boat a lot and just keeping your jib trimmed well.
We've had a lot of boat speed, good teamwork. All of our team, we've had a lot of time to practice together. Great crew work all around.
And Jane, you got the prediction point here. And so that means we both got 5 out of 6 this week. Keeps us even with you still leading 5 points overall.
So with these last round of championships, women's and team racing are now finalised. Let's take one more look at how these nationals berths panned out before these teams pack their bags for Austin. So on the women's front, SEISA lost 1 berth to MESA, who now has the largest representation with 8 teams across the semi-finals and finals, 2 berths straight to finals and 6 in the semi-finals. SEISA also loses another spot in the team racing to PCC-SC. These 14 teams will compete at the ICSA APS National Champs June 3rd through 5th, with the final 2 days being covered by Chris Love Productions. University of Texas and Chris Love Productions are gearing up for a great representation at these events. Right, Chris?
That's right, Jane. The University of Texas sailing team and the Austin Yacht Club have been hard at work this month in preparation for all the visiting teams come the end of May. Meanwhile, Chris Love Productions has been hard at work as well, securing sponsorship, figuring out logistics, and getting ready for what should be an awesome presentation of this year's Nationals. So mark your calendars. We've got 3 days of highlight videos coming out throughout the day on women's semifinals and finals, and we've got 2 days of live streaming video planned for you at Team Race Nationals. You can follow our progress and get ready for the event at 2012nationals.collegesailing.org. And now, looking ahead to this weekend, just the 1 regatta. ICSA National Semifinals hosted by U.S. Naval Academy. 36 teams qualified from the 7 districts over the past 5 weeks, and though all of them will be descending on Annapolis this weekend, it's actually 2 separate events, the East and the West. In fact, in past years they've been sailed at different venues altogether. The top 9 from each will go on to the ICSA Gill Dinghy National Championship here in Austin. Now the way this works for qualifying is the top team from each district gets put in one of the regattas, let's say the East, while the second place will go west third place East, and so on. And so in theory, that should make both of these regattas equal in terms of talent. But let's just take a look at the rosters here and see if that's really the case.
Taking a look at the lineup for the Western semi-finals, these are the 18 teams that are allocated to this regatta. And Chris, I hate to say it, but it does seem like the easier of the regattas. And I do hate to say it because as a sailor, you never want to go into a regatta, especially a semi-finals for nationals when so much is at stake, with that mentality. But it really does, when you look at it, it looks like there are 4 groupings. So the top group has got to be BC, Yale, and St. Mary's. We still have this group in the top group who we're expecting will qualify. It's Navy, Tufts, Wisco, and Miami. When you look back at the bottom of this group, in this kind of grey area, it's looking more like Navy and Harvard are quite even, but looking at their head-to-head regattas, Navy tends to have done a bit better, and also they're going to have the advantage of being on their home waters this weekend.
Yeah, you know, Harvard has kind of a funny record. They have a great performance. They were first at qualifiers and they were second in the NISA Fall Championship, but both of those events were on the river. And sailing at Navy is nothing like sailing on the Charles River. Then you've got Cornell and SUNY who have been mixing it up in Mesa. I think SUNY's got a better record and probably has the edge here, but Cornell's definitely in the conversation. And finally, UC Santa Barbara. For me, that's kind of a wild card. We know they're among the best teams on the Pacific Coast, but I've just never seen them face off against any of the other teams on this list. So it's kind of hard to say where they fit.
So for my prediction for this regatta, I'm going to stick with the top group that we had of the will qualifies, and I'm thinking that Harvard and Cornell will also make it in there to the top 9.
Jane, I'm going to agree with your picks for the most part, but I think SUNY Maritime should be in there. I'm going to guess around 8th or so, with Harvard taking the 9th spot. Now looking over at the Eastern semifinal. And I agree with you. I think this is the harder regatta to win and to qualify from. Just look at the top group of teams here. We've got Brown, College of Charleston, Dartmouth, Roger Williams, Georgetown, Hobart William Smith, and Stanford all competing together. I would put them on the same level as the top 3 teams from the other regatta. And you know, that's just the way it worked out with the district qualifiers. For example, you had College of Charleston taking 2nd at their championship, but I think they are the deeper, more experienced team over University of Miami. So they end up here. Stanford, the most dominant by far in the Pacific Coast Championship, just by chance ends up on the Eastern semifinals. So that really stacks the top of the fleet. And then looking down to the middle of the fleet, still very good teams, very hard to get that last qualifying spot with those 7 already expected to qualify.
So for the last 2 spots, I only really see 3 teams in contention. ODU is very likely to take that 8th spot, and BU and Washington College are close for the 9th. So for my prediction, I am going to, just looking at this grey area of who might qualify, because we've already decided on who we're expecting to qualify, I'm going to take ODU and BU for the last spot.
Jane, I'm just going to follow your lead on this one. I think you've got it right. I'm definitely not getting caught again by not picking my alma mater, BU.
As we all know, just because you're a great team does not necessarily mean that you're going to put it together on the weekend. These weekends really matter. If you can't put it together this weekend, you don't even get a chance at putting it together for nationals. There are other things that come into play. How you get off the line in your first race can sometimes affect how you perform for the rest of the regatta. Just getting into the wrong kind of pattern can be really detrimental to any team. And it's going to be interesting this weekend because there are a lot of other factors that are going to come into play. At Navy, you have 420s and FJs. Most teams will have been training this whole season in FJs because nationals are in FJs. But here at Navy, teams are going to sail 420s one day and FJs the next. So for example, for a team like BU, who only has FJs and doesn't really get to practice in 420s, it could be tough starting out on Saturday in 420s. It might make them tougher. It might make it tougher for the rest of the regatta for them if they get off on the wrong foot. And we also know it's going to be, and it may be too far out to tell right now, but just looking at the weather, it's going to be really light on Saturday. So 420s, potentially in this light breeze could be really tough for the team starting out in them. So looking like 5 knots on Saturday and 10 knots on Sunday. Navy is known to be really, really light and really breezy. This is looking like it's going to be one of those light regattas. The conditions at Navy can be really tough with a really sharp, short chop if the breeze is coming from the right or, as it may be, the wrong direction. They really only have 2 areas that they can sail in, which is one is outside of the sort of in the harbour, where you have to deal with a lot of boats moored and potential boat traffic as the weather is starting to get nice and Annapolis yachties and boaties want to go out. And then the other is back in the river, which can be really tough to fit 2 teams in. You can imagine having the 2 fleets in the river with the breeze coming down means that one fleet tends to get the better breeze and the other fleet gets the leftovers. So they may look to stagger the starts. So all these factors, Chris, are going to come in this weekend, which means that our predictions are based off of records and, you know, getting to know the teams and the players are all pretty good, but there are other things that could come in, and it'll be interesting to see who can make the best of it on the day.
To see more and to follow the action this weekend, go to 2012semis.collegesailing.org. So what's next, you ask? Well, we'll be back next week to recap the semifinals and to look ahead at nationals. And after that, college sailing goes on a 2.5-week hiatus. Sailors juggling between finishing up finals, graduation, and sailing practice ahead of nationals. It all begins May 30th with women's semifinals and continues through June 8th at the conclusion of co-ed nationals and the naming of College Sailor of the Year and the All-Americans. So mark your calendars and be sure to join us. It's going to be a good one.
So good luck to all teams racing this weekend.